Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Geeky Crossing here, and today we are doing another yard inspiration video. And today's villager in question is the one, the only Sherb. Now, he was the first dreamy that I ever got, and I love him with all of my heart. And I don't think it matters what island I was on. I think if I found him on a Nookmal hunt, I would have to take him because he's just my best mate. I love him. I love him loads. I first saw him on someone else's island and I was like, he needs to live with me. He needs to come to Scholastica. So he was the first villager I ever traded for, and I got him. But yeah, anyway, so the first one, I started out by laying out this path, and you can find all of the custom codes that I used in my island's custom code video, and any that aren't included there I will put in the description on this video. And I'm sorry if there's any that you can't find through those things. It will be because I can't find them, but I think there's only like 3 or 4 from my entire island that I couldn't actually find, so it should be fine. So yeah, I started trying to work out where I might want trees for this build, and trying to work out where they would go, although all changes later anyway. So yeah, I'd plopping down some custom paths just to kind of add some depth to the build and make it a bit more interesting. Also, I'm just obsessed with custom codes, so I can't help myself. They have to go everywhere. So I started out by trying to see how the trees would look. So I like to use a mix normally of just cedar and hardwood, and now and again I'll throw in fruit trees, but I love the cherry blossoms around certain villager houses, well, most of them. So I tend to use hardwood so that I'll get those beautiful 10 days of pink in April. And then I realized that I had shooting stars, so I was trying to wish while I was doing the build, and yeah, it was pretty nice. It just came totally out of the blue. I was like, oh, yay. Yeah, so going in with just some white mush lamps. I always think the green ones are going to be white, just because they look like brown and sort of like natural in the inventory. And I always think, but like if I've got no white ones, I'm like, oh yeah, look, I've got all those white ones, and I'll put them down. I'm like, bleh. Oh, it's that green. Thankfully, I had lots of customization kits. So yeah, I was just going for a fairy core theme here, so I was just using like little stone stools, mush lamps, and nova lights. And I was just trying to make it look cute and just really, really quaint. So I just used the white foam box, and I was just trying to find a position that I liked for that. And then I realized that I can't have a tree there because it stops the photo spot at the seats in the back. So I'm just playing around with object placement at the moment and trying to find out what works. I'm trying to replace these stone stools and playing around with this area a little bit, and trying to get that mum cushion centraled. Realised it was because of the entire placement of everything there, but that's fine, it happens. I've only actually recently started using the wooden items in birch. I always just use them in the dark wood and would just use them in my more natural areas because I'm not the biggest fan of like birch wood, but I've grown to really like them. I use this custom pattern, the cherry blossom petals, a lot in my island, and I really like it. And I think it's a really good way of getting that pink throughout the island, even when there's no cherry blossom season. So by using the cherry blossom branches and the petals on the floor, you still get that illusion of it being filled with cherry blossom trees and things like that. So yeah, just going in with more of the Celeste items and just trying to make it a bit more whimsical and very cool. Yeah, so I'm just trying to reposition things a bit more, and as you can see I'm kind of going for like a white and blue theme. Well, white, blue and pink. I added in a couple of bugs because Sherb loves his bugs, because he's a lazy little goat. He's a lazy boy. So I wanted to this area just look really sleepy and peaceful and calm, and I wanted it to look like Sherb's garden, or a way that Sherb could have his garden. I love using this Turkey Day stand in white to display like butterflies on or things. I think it looks so nice. And more mosh parasols because they're beautiful. And I like using the bird cages to decorate an item as well. I think it's really cute. And in the past little while, I started actually really liking like the sofas outside. I never used to really do that because I always felt like it looked odd, but that was clearly me being too inside the box. So yeah, I've started using more and more sofas outside, and I really like it. Like, I think it looks really, really cute. Like, I would love to go somewhere where I'd love to go somewhere where there was a nice, clean outdoor couch and it was just really cute, like something in Animal Crossing. Wouldn't that be amazing? So yeah, just finishing up with some more kind of custom paths and finalizing where things are gonna be. So yeah, I ended up just keeping the 2 cedar trees. I really like these trees. I think they're beautiful. I think they work really well for fairy core because it just looks like you're in this forest filled with fairies. Yeah, I was trying to play around with this area and get something I liked, but I really didn't like the 2 tables being sort of parallel to each other because it just looked too sort of structured. So I kind of just kept placing things and playing around with it, which is what I recommend you do for kind of any build. Is if you're struggling, just place down items and then work out what works for you. Have a look at the heights and the widths and the colors, and also the shapes, like the circles, or is it quite round? Is it a natural area? Things like that. So and I think that's kind of the biggest design tips, like just have fun and place items randomly until you figure out like a little system that works for you. I try and do like little areas and then I'll kind of boomerang all over the place, working on a million at a time, and then I just try and make sure nothing's lined up too straight and make sure that it looks interesting at different angles. I'm trying to make sure that you can still get photo spots and all the time making it walkable, which is difficult when you're doing like cluttered builds, but it's not impossible. Like you can have a cluttered build that's walkable. Although I do appreciate some of the ones that aren't because they're just pretty fabulous. But I don't think I could do it if my island I couldn't walk around it. So yeah, I'm just going to show you some aesthetic shots of this build that I got. And you can let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I tried to get the shooting stars in them as much as possible, but it was difficult. They seemed to all stop and come in less the minute I started taking photos. But yeah, so that's the end of this build. I hope you liked it. Go on to the second design now. Just keeping with the same sort of placement, and I wanted to kind of start by changing it up and putting in a kind of pond area. So I'm just kind of going around this, and I started it in the most ridiculous way and I messed it all up. But I started by breaking random blocks around here and then trying to smooth my edges off. As you can see, I'm terrible at waterscaping. I have no skill for it, but I do really, really try. So yeah, it wasn't great, but you get the gist, and I'm sure you will do a much better job than I did of the waterscaping. Did cut that bit because I had to call rescue services. Couldn't help it. So yeah, I wanted to make this one like just really sleepy. Like I really wanted to embody Sherb's laziness. So I downloaded this custom path that I haven't used before, and it was like a little blanket, but the entire thing was much too long, so I just used the two ends. And although the edges end up being a bit too long, I think it's still a cute design, so I went with it. So I used the kids tent in blue and white, and the white one as well, and always try and put like custom design. Well, I do, and I think it looks good. I always try and put like custom designs underneath things where you can see it through, or in a lot of areas anyway. And I just think it makes it a bit more interesting, and it looks adorable. Again, I've been just using some of the same furniture from the last time, and I wanted to make this one, like as I said, look super lazy, so I planted quite a lot of weeds in this build. I wanted to make it look like, you know, he wasn't taking care of his garden, he's just lying there trying to find bugs and stargazing and being the cute little lazy goat that he is. So then I went with some pathing. So I went with sand in my usual sort of staggered blocks for this one, and then went in with some custom designs to peek through the sand, and also to stop my fossils spawning in those areas. So I wanted to do like a little lawn here, so I thought that I would plant weeds all around the lawnmower to make it look like it hasn't mowed over those areas yet. The problem is that I didn't take any pictures once the weeds were fully grown, which would have looked much better. So unfortunately they stayed in this little stage. So yeah, I just planted all the weeds and then picked up the ones in this trail. So I sort of left that to make it look like the lawnmower had already done that bit and was yet to get around to the rest of it. And then here, that's just the mama bear in the blue and white customization. And yeah, so I'm just going around and trying to pretty it up, add a bit more colour, and I always feel like I don't use flowers enough, so I wanted to make sure there were loads, and it just kind of added to the kind of wild, unkempt sort of garden feel. I tried to use some candles in this one as well because I think it's super cute. And behind those blue hyacinths in front of the white tent is just the tea cozy in blue, and it's like a little cat. It's super cute, and I was really glad that I had it because it fit perfectly. So I just planted some like log stakes to mark the end of the lawn, to separate the areas off a little bit, and then again use some Celeste items because this one's still kind of like a fairy core theme. I would say that Sherb just inspires fairy core. I think that would be his main theme if I was to put him in like a category. But honestly, I think he suits anything. Like I would definitely have him on a kid core island. Yeah, I think Sherb's like definitely my favorite character. He's perfect. I love him to bits. So yeah, I was looking at using the little tire seats, because I've got a blue one and a white one, and I just think they're super cute. And then I went in and did my usual duck in a puddle next to the pond. Really liked that. And then I went in just adding more kind of soft, cute little items like the mom's plushie, the photo box, and then I wanted the table to be closer, and then I put an item in front of this. So that's just a repeat of the mama bear from before, and then I had a look at where I could place these tire toys, and just went around kind of adjusting things so it looked interesting and you could still kind of access everywhere, and making sure there were kind of different layers in the build. Going in with more custom designs because what else would I do? I added some to the dirt path to just make it look like it's, you know, there's still things there. It's just been mown. I don't know how well it turned out. I think, again, it just would have looked a lot better if I'd let the weeds grow and just time traveled a couple of days for it. But I totally forgot until I was halfway through tearing it down. So yeah, I'm just going to show you some pictures that I took of it, and I hope you like it. This one is simple, but it does make me think of Sherb. Like if I looked at this garden, I would say that it was Sherb's garden, so I really did like this. I thought it turned out really well. And you can let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. I would love feedback. So yeah, we'll move on to the third one now, and I'm starting this one kind of later in the day during that nice sunset hour. I'm going for a more kind of modern look with this one, so I'm just starting with the in-game stone path and mapping out an area for me to build on. Obviously throughout this you could replace any of the paths that I used with anything else if you were trying to follow it, and if not, I hope you get some inspiration from it, but I've just used the paths that I had because I didn't have many. I think I only had like 3 custom design slots spare. So yeah, I'm just going to go through with some of these diner items to begin with, and I thought that looked really cute. I like the fact that it had blue and the white, so I thought it fit quite well with Sherb's aesthetic. And then I actually ended up expanding the area because I, well, needed more space to place some more diner items. I thought it would have been a bit lacking with the space that I had, with the items I had fit, because as usual, I underestimated how much space I was going to need. So after I'd expanded, I went in with the iron fence, mainly just because it's blue and I thought it fit the aesthetic and the style. So I just kind of put this all around before moving on to the next area. So yeah, then I just repositioned the furniture and tried to work out what was going to work well and make a dynamic looking build. So I tried the snack machine, but it was damn huge. So I tried a couple other things instead and see what was going to work. And I really love these rocket lamps, and I love them in diner themed areas. I think they look so cute, and I especially love this one with the blue and the pink because, well, as I'm sure you've gathered, I love blue and pink. They are beautiful and they work so beautifully together. So I ended up repositioning the table and the chairs here. I thought that looked better because then if you had 2 characters, you get to see both of them from a side profile rather than one from the front and one from the back. And then you would still be able to see 2 people on the couch behind it if you had people there. So then I just looked at adding in the counter here with, I think it's the shaved ice maker in white and blue, and then the diner counter chairs in blue and white, and the Valentine's Day box of chocolates in blue and white. So yeah, then I went up to this back area here with some arch stone path to contrast with the stone path from the center, and so it wouldn't connect with it too. So it would definitely look like a separate area. And then I took the path down here so it would line up and rounded off the edges as well, just because I think it looks prettier. Well, for this build anyway. Then I went in with the upright piano and the electric guitar in, I don't know, just the blue color. I'm not sure on the exact shade that the game uses. And then I used the cotton candy stall in blue and white as well because it's super cute and definitely fits with that diner vibe. And then this is the cypress plant in the blue pot because it's cute and it was an item I had in my inventory which was blue, which is normally how I decorate. Is I go through my inventory and I pick out all the items that I fit, that I think match that village's kind of aesthetic, because I'll have looked through it and, you know, tried to match it up with my theme, and that's kind of how I normally decorate. So yeah, I just did the same thing as before by putting the archstone path up here to contrast with the path just below, and added in the monstera plant with the blue pot and the park clock in white, and then the diner sign at the front, just to add in a bit more colour and light. And now I will go ahead and take some photos so you can see it. So yeah, we're moving on to the next design now, and we're just starting this one at nighttime, but we do switch to day, so you get to see the end of the development and the photos. And I had a farm idea for this one, so I went in with the 2 different dirt paths in game, just to break it up. And I didn't keep them all the same size, just because I wanted this one to kind of look very natural. And again, just to fit with Sherb's aesthetic and his personality. Obviously he's lazy, so you know, he wouldn't have a perfectly kind of structured farm, I don't think, unless someone else had maybe helped him. I do have some lovely villagers. I think Fauna would definitely have helped Sherb. She'd have loved to have made him a little garden. So yeah, I just kind of went in with white items for the garden, again just to match Sherb's aesthetic and to look kind of very just calming and serene. And then so I used the round mushrooms because they're white hyacinths and the white pumpkins, and then I went in later on with a couple of different items to break up the sizes and things like that. And then I used the dirt path leading from Sherb's house just to the corner here, and rounded off the corners again just to make it look a bit more natural and to fit in with that farm vibe. And then I had problems with the log stakes, so they had to go, so I could decorate this back area. So I started off with the sand path and marked out a 3x4 square, 3x4 rectangle, and then placed the clothesline there, and then the wash tub, the rattan towel basket, and I went in later and added in a plain sink as well, just to the side. So yeah, I started thinking about how I was going to do this back area, so I kind of moved things around up here so I could terraform on the lower level to bring this out a bit. I did this because in previous ones I was finding it quite difficult to decorate this corner because of the dimensions of it, so a lot of items didn't fit and I couldn't put a tree there, so I just kind of blocked it off and brought it forward a bit, and I thought this worked well anyway to create a kind of flow through the build. So I started off with some trees and added in the mush parasol in white behind them, which is quite a good item to use when you don't have space for a tree, because it just fills that area behind without having to use something like flowers or panels. And then I just added in some trees and flowers back on the top to make it look busier. Obviously I'm not paying too much attention up here because, as I've mentioned previously, possibly not in this video but maybe in the other ones about the villager yards, is that top area is kind of like just a totally different area of my island, and I've actually just sectioned this bit off to do yard ideas, so it's not actually for my final island anyway. So yeah, I'm switching to daytime now. The flowers have grown a little bit, it's looking much brighter. So yeah, I added in some different items. I added in some pumpkin starts and the spooky lantern and just rotated it, and I used that in white. It is a little grey, but I think it works well, and as long as you bring warmth into the other areas, I think it works perfectly fine. I didn't have the spooky tower in white, so I just used the lanterns here, and then went in with some more pumpkins, and then I know that creates like quite a big line through the middle, so I do go up and change that with this scarecrow, which I think looks cute there, but to break up that line, I thought I would move him into the middle of the farm, and I thought that kind of made a bit more sense anyway, and it broke up the kind of height within the farm, which is always quite an important thing to take into consideration, is just the different heights of the objects and how they'll contrast with each other, and it can make a much more dynamic build. So yeah, I just kind of placed this silo at the back because obviously it fits in with that farm vibe. Many more custom designs just to make it look really kind of natural and a bit unkempt, and then went in with the straw fence, the hay bed, and started work on this area to the right a little bit. There was a lot of chopping and changing with this area to make it kind of fit, and I kind of kept going between the two areas. So that's the sideways pirate barrel with a little decoy duck in white in front of it, and then I was just kind of looking through my inventory and working out what items were going where. So I put in the plain sink in white and blue up here, and then I went in and added in a custom path of a puddle, just to make it look like there's been a bit of a overflow at the sink. It just makes it a bit more interesting and creates a bit more personality within the build. And then I added in some butterfly models, and of course I needed some flowers to put in front, because I love the way that the flowers hide the little stand when you look down from the bottom view when you're in the area, and it makes the butterfly just look like it's naturally going over the flowers. I think it looks really good. So yeah, I'm just kind of continuing working on this area a little bit and seeing what items were going to work well. I did have a lot of items that were kind of similar sizes, so I was struggling a little bit, so I had to collect some more as well. And then again, just went about repositioning and working out how I was going to put this iron low table in. So I put the lost item on, which I liked because it was blue and fit with the aesthetic. I put some round mushrooms there, but I did change that later on because it just doesn't look right. And then I tried to link this back with the dirt path here, but I didn't want it to be a full trail, so I just added in the little blocks like I do in most of my builds, and then added in some more custom paths because, as we know, I'm obsessed. So I like adding these into the little squares of the path as well because I think it just makes it look a bit more interesting. And then yeah, I planted a tree to the side to kind of frame it, and took away those gold flowers because 1, I really don't like them, and 2, they totally didn't fit the aesthetic. So yeah, I went in with some log stakes to kind of block this area off a little bit, and then tried to position them so I could still walk through it. So yeah, I just went on developing the kind of heights here and what I was going to do. So I whapped down a table and put a sewing project on it, because I love the little box and I think it looks really, really cute, and it fits with like farming and cottagecore areas. So I also put the sewing kit below it, a mushlow stool in front of the hay bed, and I finally changed the mushrooms to the turkey day pot, which I thought looked really, really good because I was trying to make this area look a bit warmer compared to the white and the grey on the left. So I went in with a lot more kind of orange, yellow and brown items that had warm shades, and then tried to link this back with the left by using the barbed wire fences, the pirate barrel and the wagon in the brown. And I think this works well. I think it looks good. And then I just put the flimsy stool placed there because I think the colours match up well. And then I just went in adding in more flowers and making it busier and look a bit more interesting, and adding in different plants. I love the little succulent plant. I think it looks really, really cute. And it just looks like a little kind of lost and found item, and I think it's adorable. So yeah, I tried to play around with adding more fences off to the sides to kind of continue that farm theme and just make it look really busy. Like Sherb just can't keep track of everything and things just get pushed around. So I kind of went for that kind of cluttered farm theme. So I just wanted to put some kind of dampness near the clothesline, just to make it look like, he hasn't taken that effort to fully wring out his clothes. And then yeah, I was able to get a couple of photos with Sherb hanging out in the sunset, but every time I tried to take a photo, he was doing his best to run away. And then little Mary, his next door neighbor, came over. She wanted to be the star of the show. She was playing coy though. She kept giving me the side eye. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. I really like this one. I think it's super cute. Yeah. Oh, Mary is such a queen. She can do a runway on a dirt path. I think this one looks really, really good during the kind of sunset period of the day, where it's just that glowy warm sun, because of all the warm tones through it, and it kind of takes away that greyness of the pumpkins as well, in the spooky lantern ones. I did try and keep hiding from the camera. I'm sorry about my little waving arms in the background. So yeah, with that one done, we'll move on to the next one. It's a little later now. So we're just going to start by blocking off the pathways and adding in the first items. So I started off with the utility poles because this one's going to be more of a city vibe, and added them in a couple of different areas so they would be in almost any photos. And Sherb's just hanging about in the background, keeping care of those flowers. So I added in the little construction sign next to the utility pole because I think it looks really, really cute. And then I went in and kind of blocked this area off a little bit. And that's just again using that archstone pathway of the in-game paths. I just don't have any city core or city style at all paths currently, but on my next island I will, because I'm really torn. I really don't know whether to go for like a Japanese kind of city with like Studio Ghibli vibes, or Kid Core Island, especially with the Mario items coming out. Like, I really don't know what to do. If you've got any suggestions or help or preferences, please let me know in the comments. I need help making this decision. So yeah, I went in with the public seats in white and the blue and pink ones, the drinks machine in the back, and then 2 Monstera plants with the blue pot. I really like using the public benches for city core builds. I think it looks really, really cute. And then I framed the garden off with the iron and stone fence, because I really, really like this for sort of not totally like big city core, but for like kind of like out of the way kind of city styles. So I added a dirt path from the utility pole because I did want it to look like there's maybe a bit of work going on there, just behind Sherb's house. Although I think he sleeps quite deeply, so hopefully they won't wake him up in the morning when they're working. So yeah, I just kind of finished off the fencing here, and then went on to continued. So yeah, once I'd got those public benches finally positioned right, I went in with some more decoration over here, playing around with the iron garden furniture in white and things like that. And then I placed, I think it's the it's like a dinner set or something, I'm not sure, and I just customized that to be like white and pink, I think it was. And then I just expanded this path here and rounded it off. And then I just like to add this sort of path at the bottom and put some kind of hedges along it. I think it looks really cute. So I just did 2 hedges either side, and then left a gap in the middle to put in 1 block of the iron and stone fence to break it up. And I think that fits the sort of city core vibe. And I just extended the path down there a little bit, and then went on to decorate this area up to the right with a statue to make it look a bit more interesting, and filled the back of it and the front of it with white hyacinths. And then yeah, this one again is pretty simple, but I like it. And yeah, so I went in with some street lamps in a sort of little pattern there to fit in, and I just used the white ones because I think they fit in the best with this build. And yeah, so that's this one finished with. I hope you like it. I think it's cute, and again, I think it's really adaptable to kind of fit your own island too. That's the custom code that I used in the build with the tents, if you were wondering. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. You can catch the rest of the custom design codes on the custom design code video that I made for my own island, and the rest of them would have just been in-game paths. And if you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content, because I am planning on doing more villager garden ideas. And feel free to let me know any villages you'd like to see me do. Thank you very much, and catch you next time. Bye!